Hi, welcome to week 8 for CIS 120. We're going to go over a few things tonight. I'm going to first share the slides with you, and then we're going to go over some of the assignments, okay? All right, so you should be able to see the screen here. Let me present from the beginning. The topic for this week is privacy and security, ethics and law with the internet. And so we're going to talk about some of these things. And these topics are ever changing and ever getting more and more complex in our world. First thing I want to ask you is, what are your ethical concerns about the use of technology? Now, I think as teachers, if you are a teacher, there are some real ethical concerns about what the students should be allowed to view or not view, what sites are good sites, what sites are not good sites, all those kinds of things. I think that when the era of books was in, that there was some discussion about, what books should children be able to read and not read. And I remember back in the day when I was teaching that the Harry Potter book was one of those books that was a little bit controversial, and they weren't sure if they should let children read the Harry Potter books in school. Kids love the Harry Potter books anyway, and they would read them. So today, as we think about the use of technology in the classroom, we need to think about what are the ethical concerns. And I think that you could write some of those questions down and then research them for yourself, because those concerns change. Also ethical concerns as far as emailing students, emailing parents, what should you email, what should you not, what should you put in emails, what should you not. Those kinds of things are all things that are usually taken care of in school policy. And I know that at the schools that I worked at, to begin with, there was no school policy because there wasn't electronic technology such as computers in use when I first started teaching. But those things have kind of evolved, and those kinds of rules and limits and guidelines have kind of evolved over the years. I have been parts of committees that have actually put together and written technology rules and guidelines, and like I say, they're ever changing depending upon what the circumstances are. To define computer ethics, I have a question up here. What does ethical computer use mean to you? And what does it mean to you in your position of your job, and maybe as a family member or to yourself? What does ethical computer use mean to you? And then you also kind of contemplate what ethics, as teachers, what ethics do you teach your students? What are the what are ethical guidelines? To be kind to one another, not make fun of anyone, to not bully, to cooperate, work together. Those kinds of things are all basis for that have a foundational basis into how you're going to write or put into place ethical uses of computer technology in your classroom. I just took a screenshot of this because I didn't think it was really funny, but I thought it was really not so true. This says the biggest cybersecurity disasters of 2017 so far, and it was an article. And what was so ironic about it is that, when this article was written, 2017 was not all the way over, and the disasters just kept getting bigger and bigger. And the latest disaster I can think of that was currently in the news was the credit check companies like Equifax. They were hacked, and that is just terrible. I mean, to think that the company that you go to get information on people's credit scores, that actual database was hacked, is just it's just terrible. Let's see. Okay, there was going by all these things: internet security, private security. Okay, here's one: copyright infringement of online materials. This is something that's really important to go over, especially as your students use images or quotes or whatever from on the internet. And in just a few minutes here, I'll switch back to my screen and I'll show you how you can actually tell which media is actually okay to use and copy. But whatever you do use from the internet, somebody put it there, and you should give credit to the person who actually used, who actually created that image. An example I have is, it's probably about 7 or 8 years ago. I'm also an artist, and I make different graphics and things. And I made a graphic for a math page that I put together. And it was just happened a few months ago. Somebody emailed me and they said, "Hey, I'd like to use your image in one of my presentations." And I thought that was very nice of that person to actually email me and then give me credit for using my graphic image there, because I did not put it for common use, but I thought that for her presentation, her math presentation, it'd be perfectly fine. So be sure, it doesn't hurt to ask the person and to find out who created it or whatever. If you cannot get a hold of the creator, at least cite the source and who created it, so you don't infringe on copyright. One thing you should never do is take somebody else's image and then put it into something else and then charge money for it. That is really a bad infringement of copyright law, because you're making money off of something they created without giving that person credit for that. One thing you have to be careful for is music. And for years and years, I was also in charge of the school broadcast and the video production of that. And the students would often pick songs or music off the internet and use it in the background. And what would happen is, when we published that to YouTube, or we published it, live stream or whatever, if YouTube has some kind of a screening, what should I say, a screening program in place, where if they hear a song that belongs to somebody else, what they do is they just take all the sound off of the entire video. The entire news broadcast had no sound, because one student had used a song that was actually copywritten by somebody else, and so the whole broadcast didn't have any sound. So you'll get penalized in those ways, and that was just a one way to penalize. But the other ways could come to you with financial, like people sue you because you used your stuff and you didn't tell them or whatever. So you need to be very careful about that. For your key assignment, you're supposed to choose a current event in the last year that related to internet security, ethical use of the internet, or copyright infringement of online material. Pick any current topic, cite the source of where you got the article, and then write a 2 to 3 page paper about that. And you'll find that you'll learn quite a bit by doing this research, and that it will be a tool that you can use in your classroom as an example of ways that the internet security or ethical use of the internet, an example you can use for your classroom. So let me do a new share here. I'm going to stop this share and do a new share. Let's see if I can click right over to it. I think I can. Okay, great. Okay, so now I'm sharing the screen here for, we were just talking about the key assignment here. And here it is up here. I'll try to make it bigger for you so you can see it and a little bit better. Let's see if I can move it over a little. I can't seem to move it over a little bit, but okay, there we go. I just read the topic, and if you cannot find a topic, you can click there in the site. Let's see if I can move this up a little bit. So hard when everything's all big here like this. Okay, here it is, key assignment. There we go. Okay, it says write a 2 to 3 page paper summarizing this event and the short and long-term impacts that this event how this event has changed society. So include a minimum of 3 sources, which is really important to do. And I want to make sure I'm sharing the right Let me stop share on this. Yeah, I don't think I'm on the right share. I think you're seeing something that I'm not seeing here. Okay. Make this a little bit smaller. Sometimes just share screen is a little bit difficult, but I'm trying the best I can here. Okay. All right. I think you can see it now. Include a minimum of 3 sources, meaning 3 different articles that, reported that event or whatever happened. If you can't find 3 sources, that's okay, but at least, have the one source and maybe another source to substantiate it. Make sure you address the ethical and legal dilemmas of these events and how technology enabled ethical breaches to happen. Okay, complete the paper by listing lessons learned from this event. And your title and reference pages count towards the page requirements. Do not use fonts larger than 12 point, blah, blah, blah. And do not set the spacing to more than 1.5, etc. So you're going to make it says write a 2 to 3 page paper. And then in addition to that, prepare a PowerPoint or Google slide presentation, something that you could use in your classroom that could point that out to maybe parents or students, depending upon the age group that you have. So that's the scoop on that. Okay, let me go back up to the things that I wanted to especially go over. The readings. One of the things that it says for the readings is go to the lecture, Privacy and Security, Ethics and Law. Somehow the sound recording that was supposed to go into that spot got mixed up, and it's the wrong one. The wrong one's in there. So you do not have to read the lecture, Privacy and Security, Ethics and Law, because it's the wrong one. Let me show you where it says right here. It says, click here to listen to week 8 lecture from SoundCloud. That is not the correct one that got in there. I tried to edit it out, and it just didn't work. So please, don't do that. I mean, you can listen to it, but it's really not going to help you for Module 8. Then we went over the week 8 discussion. Just review that really quick since we're together here. That is about reading an article. And then after reading the federal trade article, you should list 3 regulations that should be put in place to safeguard people, to safeguard personal information. Okay, so that's this discussion prompt. And then you have the key assignment. And then your reflection assignment is really important. The end of the class, your reflection assignment about what things you learned about, introduction to computer science and things. And I think some people didn't know about the dark web. Some people didn't know about the ethical use of internet or copyright infringement or those kinds of things. So let me go through, and I'm going to open another window here, and I hope you can see this, but I'm writing a report, and I want to write my report on dogs. And so I'm going to Google dogs. I'm not sure how well you can see this, but I'm going to go to images, and I want to take an image and put it in my report. Now I could just click on a dog, and I could right click, and it says save image as. So I could save that image and save it to my file and whatever, and then use that image. But what if I wasn't sure if I could use this image? Well, one of the ways that I teach my students about using images is to go up here in Chrome. You go under here and it says all images, videos, news, shopping, more, settings, and tools. And when you go to tools, you click on that. There's another menu that comes up underneath there, and I'm not sure how well you can see that because I can only zoom up on what is on a page, but not what's on the menu here. But anyway, it says here usage rights. Usage rights. So you click that, and there is a part where you can click. It says labeled for reuse. Now, if you get your students to always click labeled for reuse, then chances are those photos you can reuse. You can put them in something else. and the person who took the picture or whatever, they put them up for common use. That doesn't mean you don't cite where they came from. You should still give credit where credit's due. They also have labeled for non-commercial reuse with modifications, or labeled for non-commercial reuse. And as long as you're not selling the slide presentation or whatever, you're not getting money off of those pictures, then that would be non-commercial use, okay? So I've clicked labeled for reuse. And so say I've got this picture right here of this dog here, and I want to know where the source is. Well, then I can click to visit that site, and see where this came from, okay? So this is a Creative Commons. It says free for commercial use, no attribution required. So you really don't have to say where it came from, but it does say up here that this person name up here and how many images they had. They actually have a lot of images here that you can use, and you can cite their name, and you can cite where you acquired this photo. That is a really cute picture of a dog, by the way. Not as cute as my dog, but anyway, okay. So there's also other search tools that you can use at the top. There's the type. If you want only clip art, or say you want line drawings of a dog, you can get line drawings, and those are really good for students who like to color things in or whatever. Also under tools, and you can see that you can get clip art if you just want clip art, or you can go to let's see, images. Let's see. Let's see. We want to go to animated. That will give you gift images. So when you click these, they should move in some way. Like this one has the tail moving. Those are GIF files, so you can find little things. So now you know where to find things. Now I'm not sure what this one does. Yeah, this dog just opens his mouth and whatever. So that's kind of fun to you kind of explore these tools and things. And they have color. If you want a dog that's yellow, they'll find a yellow dog or whatever it happens to be. So, but the most important thing, the whole reason why I'm here to show you about this is it's labeled for reuse. That's the most important thing, to be able to know that if it's labeled for reuse. I've really enjoyed teaching this course to you, and let me stop the share here. I love technology. I always have, and it's one of my passions, and something that I get excited about. I know that technology and computer technology and mobile technology and all those things are really great tools in the classroom if they're used right. And one thing I will encourage you is to continue your interest in computer technology. And one of the ways you can do that is attend conferences. And I will be speaking at the Q 2018 conference. Q stands for Computing User Educators Association, which I've been a member of for more than 10 years or so. And so I speak at the conference in Palm Springs. And so I'll be doing 3 different talks there this March. And so you might want to encourage your school or whatever to pay for you to go to the Palm Springs conference, or you can always go to the San Diego conference, or maybe there's a conference where you are, a Q organization. I know that some of you are from Arizona or whatever, but that's a really good way to keep up on the newest technologies and things like that. If you have any questions about the key assignment or anything in our class, or you want me to answer any questions, just let me know. I'm here to help. And it's been really a great pleasure teaching you this semester. And I wish you all the best with your endeavors and your degrees at the United States University. Okay? Have a nice evening. Bye-bye now.